I'm trying to make it in the world that isn't fair, and nothing's ever going my way under the curse of despair. I tried to reach it first, but I fail, and no one's ever there. When the pain starts to hurt, the who to tell. Uncomfortable, can't seem to make it out of my position. I'm here all the time, can't seem to break repetition. You don't get recognition for the good, fuck up your reputation for the hood, but you're missing in the woods. Wish I could get back right, everything that went wrong. So when I get put on, I'ma sing it in the song. Give y'all something to relate to, have you thankful for the knowledge. Not saying I make it right, don't be praying for a promise. To say that life's a bitch, so I'm a cupper. So greedy and stingy like I'ma never get another one. She's starving, hungry, with loads of money, I'ma suffer. For the stress we wrote the test and let it burn like Usher. Fathom this.
My life is just a journey on the move. Hey guys, welcome to Dangerous Thoughts. You've stepped into the exhilarating world of our show. I'm your host, Manuente Reme. That right there is
I'm
my
Tyson.
co-host, Tyson Strasberg. Here on Dangerous Thoughts, we fearlessly venture into the controversy, exploring the uncharted territories of topics deemed too risky to discuss. What's even more cool is that you can be a part of our show. Just click on the Discord link below, and it'll give you a direct link to talk to our guest or me and Tyson and ask questions and be a part of the DT fam. Join us live. That's where I was. You have two choices. You can come in anonymously. You could just use your voice, or you can actually come in on your live video feed and show us your pretty self and soul and face and shoulders, eyeballs, those human things. Tonight, we have an amazing guest that will be here a little bit later. Her name is Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a second when I get my notes up, because I want to tell you about Kimberly. Kimberly's been on before, and she was amazing. We dug deep into the world of aliens and soul vibrations and starseed stuff. It was a wild show, and people really dug it. So we're having her on again to talk about a few different things that she does. So she'll discuss this week. She'll discuss her research using energy healing, holistic wellness, and the art of technology for alternative health combined with the energy healing fields. She'll also share some of her personal experiences along with how she uses her psychic abilities to help people. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge is an internationally renowned naturopathic doctor, energy healer, remote viewer, paranormal expert, and consciousness teacher. That's a multi-hyphenate, but I don't care because I'm a multi-hyphenate too. Her extensive client list includes some of the world's most talented healers for the past 25 years, and she's worked on thousands of people around the world. She's amazing. She's just bottom line amazing. She's written books. You can follow her on Skype, and she'll tell you everywhere that you can go. Go to thesecretofeverything.com. That's one of her sites. She's also written a couple of books, and I'll let her tell you about those. So what do you think, Tyson, about energy healing and holistic wellness? You're a nurse.
Oh, no. I don't. I work in the medical field, but I'm not a medical practitioner. However,
I know.
when it comes,
I always say that just to irk you.
Well, no, I just don't want anybody calling me for medical advice. As you can see behind me here, I'm totally into frequencies. Frequency.
Look at the new one, you bad boy. What is that?
Look at this. Look at $4,000 HF radio right here. I'm over the moon for this radio. Love that thing.
Cool.
But yeah, totally. And by the way, just about the shirt here, I'm not gay. I just love paisleys. Oh, wait a minute. I am gay and I hate paisley. Why am I wearing this fucking shirt?
I don't know, but it's pretty fantastic.
Like I said in the pre-show, I just wanted to show off my my strength, and as I said before, getting pretty strong. Yeah.
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 Maybe you need some energy healing for your pits. I'm sure Dr. Kimberly could tell you like what kind of holistic stuff you could put under there to make people.
If you could give me a stick of Old Spice, is what.
You know what always blows me away when I walk by hippies and I walk by like I grew up with hippies, so I'm not talking crap. But when I walk by a couple of hippie kids and they look homeless, they look like they're having a tough time, they look like they're struggling. But when they walk by me, I catch this whiff of amazing, beautiful scent, and it's not like your typical deodorant from your typical drugstore. And I've always wanted to know what that beautiful hippie scent is, and I've never been able to figure it out.
I thought it was gin and regret, but I don't know what that scent is.
Good evening, Jay Ruiz. Thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, my brother's here. That's great.
Rose, hey, Rose is back from the UK. Wow, we got two
Rose.
people listening from the UK now. That's great. Rose is a fantastic, great friend of mine. I hope she comes on tonight. But I find it pretty. This whole idea of energy healing is what I'm excited to talk about with Dr. Kimberly. I don't know what I think about it because I've never tried it. I've never gone to an energy healer. I do believe in holistic medicine. I'm the kind of guy that's always popping echinacea and elderberry and vitamin C and trying to keep my pH levels balanced. And I believe in probiotics and all those non Western medicine sort of supplements. Whether they work or not, I really don't know. I've just used them all my life, and why stop now? I'm 46.
A good friend of mine, his name was Sam. He worked at a mall, and he sold these crystal figurines, and they were beautiful. And one time he was on the bus, and he's going to work, and this old, kind, sweet lady sitting next to him, and asks what he does for a living, and he says, "I sell crystal." And she was like, got up and moved, and no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. Well, there's power in rocks. My wife is a big believer in the power of minerals and rocks and how they affect us. I don't know. For me, it all makes sense. We're in this gigantic universe. We're affected by gravity. We've got 3 giant black holes in the center of our universe. We're traveling at some 1,000 miles an hour around the sun, and we're revolving at some 1,000 miles an hour, and our universe is moving through the cosmos at an even more incredible speed. And the planets and the shapes and the sizes and the elements in them were made up of all that stuff, stardust. I can't think that we're not, that, from minerals to chemistry to thought. I think it's all interconnected in some really amazing ways. And some of these on the fringe scientists are finding some things out that see, Katie from London says different crystals resonate their own frequencies and can help people more than they realize. I remember being 8 years old, and my hippie mom would put like an amethyst or a different crystal on my chest, and she would have me meditate. And when I was young, as a kid, that was the only time I ever remember leaving my body and actually existing above my body out in outer space, looking down at the earth. Kids have
that absolutely happened to me one time. I absolutely left my body. I told my doctor never ever to prescribe Flexeril to me again. It was a bad experience.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I've done it on drugs, but I've never done it. I've never done it on just sobriety, except for the times when I was young with those crystals when my mom would have me meditate. But I've tried it as an adult, and I've never been able to leave my body. Maybe Kimberly can help us leave our bodies tonight too. That wouldn't be a very interesting show, though, all of us just sitting here like this and being somewhere else.
Oh, I hear people say, "Oh, I left my body and I was able to look at myself." And I'm like, you can buy a mirror and do the same thing. I don't know what the special is.
Well, mirrors are supposedly pretty magic things, according to some folks. my mom actually, when she was trying to push me out of her vagina, apparently it was really painful. And birth, apparently a very painful thing. And she was pushing me out. And when she did that, she left her body, and she said she saw herself over herself, and she was above herself. And I suppose a mirror could do that if you were one of those porn guys with the mirror on your ceiling.
My mom always said when I was born, the thing she remembers is that I tore her. She said, "You tore me from C to A," and I'm like, "Okay, done. Thank
Yeah,
you.
all right.
Thank you for the image."
At least it wasn't A to Z.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I
tell
was
me,
8
all right.
pounds something.
So I'm going to tell you a story completely off topic. This is what happened to me the beginning of my New Year's, and I'm taking it as a good I'm taking it as a good sign because it was terrible. I'm driving down the street. I'm on Tejon Avenue here in Colorado Springs. I have just gotten back from LA. No, I was just about to leave to LA. Sorry. And I was pulling up to the Bank of America, and there were all these cars on Tejon Street that were parked with their wheels towards the curb. And I pulled in front of those cars in a little space where I could kind of pull off the side of the road, run across to the Bank of America. I had my buddy Mike sitting in the car with me. I jumped back. I went to the Bank of America, got some cash for the flight and the LA trip, and I was going to actually work on Star Crew. We locked the VFX edit Tuesday morning, which is very exciting. We're moving this sound and score and everything, which is a really exciting thing for me. But then I jumped back in my car, and this city bus pulls, like, here I am off the side of the road, and this city bus is on the road, and it pulls up nose to nose with me, and it stops, and it's just sitting there for like at least a minute and a half. And so I'm thinking, okay, this girl is on her break, but why is she sitting right in the middle of the road? This is getting a little bit annoying. So I backed my car up just a couple inches, and then I went around in front of her, and I took the left. As I was passing her door, I saw her yelling, and she was going, and I thought I heard, "You can't pass me," or something like that. So I think she thought I was behind her, and then I had gone all the way around her and passed her on the left. So I just kind of giggled and went, whatever, that girl's really intense. And I didn't stop, and I came home. Then I jumped on the plane to LA. I went and did my Star Crew work, came back. 5 days later, I wake up in the morning, and this policeman gives me a phone call. He goes, "Hey, is this Manu Ntireme?" He didn't say it right, but he goes, "Hey, is this Unam?" And I was like, maybe. And I go, "Who's this?" He goes, "This is the Colorado Springs Police Department." I said, "Really? Okay, yeah, this is Manu. What do you want?" And he said, "Do you remember having an incident with a bus driver on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve?" I always call it New Year's Eve day, which I don't think is a thing, but New Year's
It
Eve
works.
during the afternoon. It was 1:12. Actually, it was 1:12 p.m. to be exact, according to the officer. So he says, "Do you remember backing into a bus twice?" A bus driver said you backed into the bus and rammed it twice and then drove away at high speeds. And I went, "Excuse me? No, I didn't hit any bus." And I do remember a lady pumping her fist at me and yelling that you can't get around, that you can't pass me on the left. And she was relatively angry at me. So the police officer said, "Well, let me come by your house. Don't touch your car. I want to look at your car. And I don't try to rub anything off because believe me, I'll know it." I said, "No problem. Come on over." I didn't crash my car. This guy comes to my house. The garage door opens. He goes, "Why don't you pull your car out of there?" And he looks at the back of my car, and my car's filthy. I mean, this is Colorado Springs. It's winter. It's the mountains. My car's covered in dirt. He goes around, and long story short, he looks at the back of my car, and he sees a tiny little dirt smudge, like a handprint that had, like, maybe I put my hand on my car to pop my groceries up and put my groceries in, and he sees this tiny little scratch about this big on behind my car on the lower bumper, literally that big. And he goes, "How did that happen?" And I've got those everywhere on my car. I mean, literally everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I pushed my supermarket cart into the back. Normal wear and tear scratches from parallel parking in LA, and that looks like a handprint. But the truth is that I don't know how these dirt smudges happened. And the officer said, "Well, I think that's where you backed into the bus and rammed it twice." And I was like, "Excuse-moi, what the fuck are you talking about?" So this guy gives me a ticket, tells me I have to come to the courthouse in March. He shows me a picture of the bus, and the bus at the very back end has about this sized, nice big hand, brown scratch dent in its back end, and then a big scrape along the back of the lower side of the bus. And he says that he thinks the dirt smudge on my car and the tiny little scratch on my car is proof in the pudding that I must have ran into that bus. And so that's how my New Year started with
I feel like, bus versus car, that might have been the other way around, right?
You would think, yeah. This was a big city bus, a big yellow metal city bus. I drive a Kia. It's plastic. It's a piece of crap. There's no way that I caused that damage.
There is an English detective you could hire. His name is Hercule Poirot. And I think Agatha Christie knows him. I think you might get him to come investigate.
Yeah. So I was irked. So I went downtown the very next day, and I'm driving down these streets, and at every stoplight there's a camera, except for the one where I pulled over to the side. There's a huge tree.
Of course.
So they didn't put a camera there because it couldn't see through the tree or whatever. So I couldn't find any cameras that could prove that I didn't do it. And I've got to go to court. And my theory is this, and I have no proof, but my theory is that this douchebag police officer, was dating this douchebag bus driver. And this douchebag bus driver fucked up her bus that day, just, probably caught it on something and decided, oh, this kid passed me on the left. I'll write down this guy passed me on the left. I'll write down his license plate. I'll blame it on him. Then I'll call my cop boyfriend and I'll say, hey, can you go take care of this so I don't, get a demerit on my, lose my job, etc. That's what I think is happening to me. I think that the city authorities are banding together to try to, get their bus fixed on my Geico insurance.
The most unbelievable part of that story is you refer to yourself as a kid, but no, I get it.
Fuck you. I would have bet dollars to donuts that her bus had a camera. Whether she turned it off or not is another story. I love that Tyson just dropped the parole. Yeah. Have them call for the bus camera footage. Yeah, I will. I'm looking for any camera footage of that day because the truth is my Kia has a detection system that if you're anywhere near anything, it's so annoying. It goes beep, beep, beep. And the little thing.
Oh, you didn't say you had a Kia. That's your defense. Go to court and say, okay, there's a huge dent in the bus. There's no dent in my car, and I have a Kia.
They're going to have to toss it.
Okay, if I drove a Land Rover, that might be one thing. It's a fucking Kia.
The other thing that I found totally strange is that amounts to a hit and run. That's a pretty serious thing. So if the girl that was driving the bus really believed that I hit and ran her car, wrote down my plate and said I got a hit and run on the South Tejon and Platte, and they looked up my information, why did it take them 5 days to get a hold of me?
And if you hit a bus hard enough, that the driver at the front of the bus noticed. I mean, I mean, you would crush your car, you would accordion your car before the driver would feel any kind of bump. I mean, that you have to hit it pretty hard, and a little bitty scratch.
Yeah.
No.
All right, the interrupting producer is here
Hi.
because
How are
we have
ya?
a special
Subscription
guest
pirate.
with us tonight.
Kimberly's here.
Kimberly's here. And listen, if you want to ask Kimberly a question, this is your only opportunity. And I don't have a clock up. We only have 34 minutes. So jump on Discord, click that link if you want to ask her a question. She's amazing. Let's get started. Let's bring her in. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, energy healer extraordinaire. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Sorry I'm late. I couldn't find the link. So
that's okay. A little bit of interference from the aliens or who stopped you? The government?
Probably from the people that love me most, the government.
Oh, you got a little show stealer over your right shoulder. How cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so last time you were on the show, we got pretty deep down the rabbit hole of aliens and the international. I mean, the what do you call it? It's basically the conglomeration of aliens and
Galactic Federation.
The Galactic Federation. We talked a lot about the Galactic Federation, and we talked a lot about scanning and etc. But on this show, I'd love to ask you more about energy healing because I know nothing about it. I'd love to talk more about holistic healing. I've never had an energy healer. I've never had anybody try that on me. So I guess I think you said you're one of the patent holders for Halo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's
I love that game. Yeah. Halo 3.
I wish we would be talking about one of the patent holders for Halo, the game.
Yeah. Now, Halo, the game, is a bunch of military people smoking aliens, and it's super fun, but it's totally propaganda.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. So, and it's spelled, I think, HAELO, and it's a PEMF device and an exclusive frequency creator. What's a PEMF device? What's that stand for?
Pulsed electromagnetic frequency. So it's pretty studied. There's a ton of studies. It's frequencies that are of a certain bandwidth that they go all the way down through the body, through the bone, as deep as you can go into the bone marrow, into the tissues, and really, deliver, which not a lot of things do. I mean, we're always around frequencies. I mean, people are like, oh, I wish I could be around big money. Well, you are. Like, all the money's like whizzing by us in the air, just reach out your hand and grab your piece. But not all the, exactly. Not all the frequencies saturate the body, thankfully, probably.
Now, as somebody who's really into frequency, as you can see behind me, ham radio operator, got lots of radios here.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Now, low frequency is something that's very penetrative. Is that correct? Low frequency. That's what they use for submarines. What they use because that penetrates and goes through.
Right. The Halo, I mean, of course, it's patented, but we kind of accomplish the same thing through a little different method, and that's why we can patent like a kind of a layered pulsating delivery, which kind of creates a whole new beast, I guess, that works. So we kind of circumvent pure high or low, although, of course, we are within a certain range because the coil that delivers the frequencies can only deliver a certain range. But yeah, we're all tweaking. We're still working on a lot of that stuff. And there's some lab studies, and we've done a lot with it.
So it's not an omnidirectional, it's a focused beam. Very nice. Very nice.
It's a torus. It's a torus, and yeah, and it has a certain, like, maybe 10, 12, 14 feet out from the body. You can kind of get a healing cocoon going, so your pets or people can come into it, and it delivers specific, for sleep or for a lot of our frequency sets are for athlete performance.
Now, our bodies are electrochemical. And so with frequency, which is electromagnetic, it can affect the body. If you have a directed energy at a specific frequency, it interacts with our electrochemical self, and we use that in radiation therapy. We use it in lots of proven healing textbook. Doctors use it all
Ultrasound,
the time.
MRIs, yeah, all
Right,
of it.
right.
All of it, yeah.
So, but what you're doing is taking it really to the next level and doing holistic healing. So it's not necessarily an acute part of the body that is experiencing something. It's more general, more holistic, more well-being. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Is that true? Do you not
It is true. I mean,
do you not
because
direct, like if you had the problem with your ankle, you can't direct the frequency?
you can put the
You can.
coil over your ankle or over your shoulder or on your back or on your stomach. But it's bigger than that. It's more than that, because again, I can speak to it since I did it, but I layered in quantum healing. I layered in all time, all space stuff. I layered in releasing programming. Like right now I'm working on a beauty frequency set. So you'd think I would just be working on like skin, certain things with the skin, or certain things, that we think of with beauty, but I'm not. I'm working with beliefs about aging. For example, there is no aging program in what I call the game, or on Earth. There is no aging program. You age because you're taught to age. And they did this experiment, our lovely friends, the government, the agencies did this experiment pretty recently, within the last 10 years, I think. And they took a bunch of people in nursing homes between like the ages of like 80 and 90, or 75 and 90, really elderly people that were very obviously aged. They're crippled and they can't walk and they can't get out of the chairs, and they have gray hair and they're balding. And you guys know what aging looks like, and they're all wrinkled. And they took them all and they put them in a town that was a 1950s town. Everything looked like the 1950s. All the food was 1950s. Every signage, every music. I mean, it was like a saturation in 1950s. Guess what happened?
What?
Mind over matter, and they started to use
hair. Their hair started going gray. It went to black. They got out of their wheelchairs. They dropped their canes. They believed they were young because they remembered what it was like to be in the 1950s. And they came back alive because they were saturated, guess what, in a new program. They were put in the young 1950s program. And
I've seen televangelists do the exact same thing. So I think a lot of that is that mind over matter, right? If you believe it is working, it works.
That's right. That's because the number one rule of this game, this is how you win the game. And you really have to sit with this. You can't just let it bounce off your consciousness. The number one rule of this reality that everything is built around is whatever you and you and me and you believe is real. It's about what we believe. So if you believe that you, as you approach 80, that you're going to look like you're 40 or 30 or 20, and of course, we're not talking about this superficial belief. We're talking about just like those older people that were saturated. We're talking about a belief of being. It's not just like chanting, I am young, I am young. That doesn't work. You really have to understand how this reality works and then start to work with it instead of against it, and stop buying all the BS that they sell us,
So tell me about this 1950s age experiment. Who did this? Where was it? How can I read about it?
I'm pretty sure it was CIA. I can get you the more details where you could find it easier. More specifics.
If you would send that to me, I would be so.
I will. I will within the
excited.
next day or so. I'll look it up.
Thank you so much. Because so these people, were they doing any energy healing, or were they just transported back to their youth?
No, all they did was change their environment, which changed their belief, because at first, it didn't happen instantaneously. As they became saturated in day after day, it wasn't, it was like a year experiment or something, but they became, they started interacting in the old soda stores, and you know what I mean? Like they were reliving their youth kind of with the surroundings. Their cells started changing, and their nervous system started changing, and their body started agreeing with their beliefs. And it doesn't matter what you believe. you guys can do the same thing with money. You can do the same thing with love. You can do the same thing with a career, or that's what we mean by creating your own reality, but it has to align. Like, you have to take the action, and they made it easy on them, because if you're saturated in the 1950s, you're going to act like you're in the 1950s, whatever age you were, 40 or whatever age they were, or 50, when they were.
I spent 2 days in this town that Walt Disney grew up in. And I can't remember the name of the town, but it was absolutely a town that was stuck in the 1950s. Like, it hadn't changed since Disney had been there. Soda fountains, soda jerk, Coca-Cola for 5 cents on the side of the billboards. Like, they hadn't changed anything about the town. And being there just for a couple of days was a pretty magical experience. Like, I felt like I was in the 1950s, and I felt really good the couple of days I was there. So I can relate to that. So how about a little more about holistic healing? Do you believe in supplements? Do you believe in?
It's so funny. I've been all over the map because, I've been in frequency healing for so long, and energy healing. And I believe in the power of frequencies. However, there's some tricks to it that I had to learn, kind of going one extreme and the other. I have 2 drawers of like 250 supplements, but here's the key. Here's how my use of supplement is different from other people's use of supplements. I can scan myself every day on my panel. I scan myself and I frequency match. What frequencies does my body need today? What the frequency of the supplement comes off the frequency of my body, and every single thing is in my energy field. How my heart's doing today, how my brain's doing today. Am I depressed today? Am I anxious today? Whatever emotional states, mood states, mental states. So we bounce that with the technology that I use off each other. And then I don't take all 250 supplements. I don't waste money. I have supplements that I've had for a year in there that I touched 3 times. Because every night or every morning, I run and only take what I need for that day. And it's gotten to, I'm so kind of good at frequency and stuff. I can usually tell by how I'm feeling what I'm going to test for, on that panel.
So when you say you scan yourself on that panel, define what that means.
It means I use the app that I use, which I don't want to say because then everyone will go to it. I won't get any credit for it. And then they'll kill me because I have to give a certain link. But the app that I use is.
Will you send it to me?
Yes, I'll send it
All
to
right,
you.
good. Because I need some help. I need some healing.
The co-host wouldn't mind it either. And by the way, I have to take little pills, benzodiazepine, for anxiety. Is this something that can help with that you could, frequency healing helps with anxiety?
Absolutely. But again, and I guess
and holistic medicine,
the supplement thing, it does. But here's what I discovered. We can all be healed by frequency if we're a certain vibration, but we're not. First of all, we're in these dense avatars that aren't the best. So that's a lower vibration, a denser frequencies. And so we're not, if you're not to the point where you're barely eating and you're just drinking water and breathing air, and that's your food, then you, in my opinion, from 30 years working in frequency, it would be foolish to think you can just heal with frequency. Now, are there dimensions in ET races that do have the real med beds and the plasma biodome healing centers and all these? Yes, absolutely. We have higher tech, and it even works with the dense body, but that's because their frequencies are not game frequencies. These frequencies that we're working with, which is good because we're in the game, we're on Earth, so we should be working with Earth frequencies. I'm not trying to bring in like 700th dimensional healing, although there are some things that we're experimenting with that touch on that. There's really no limits.
So you do believe that this is a game. This is some kind of a
100% Matrix. Well, Matrix documented. Yeah,
it is. It is some kind of.
I told you what I believe. I actually have pictures, which I always offer to send people these, and nobody ever takes me up on it. But
I want them. I want all this stuff. So that's why we're having you back, because we found you so interesting. I want to learn more.
Mars, Jupiter, whatever. They're all ships. They're all on docking stations. We're on a docking station. We aren't even. Earth isn't even the ship. Actually, it is. That's why I say Earth, and URTH is the name of the ship. That's why we call it Earth. It's a obviously
wow.
sounds the same.
Spaceship
doesn't-
Earth, right?
Yeah.
It's a spaceship. And guess what? You should be really familiar with this, Mr. Mister. We're on a deck, and this whole deck is a hologram, and we're in an immersive holographic matrix game.
So we
Just
definitely
like
are.
Star Trek shows us, you know.
We
just
are in a
like Star Trek
simulation
shows
of
us.
some kind.
I want you guys to think about something. If we could only perceive things in 2 dimensions, not 3, okay, 2 dimensions. We lived on a 2-dimensional plane. We could only see width and length, but we couldn't see height. There was no 3rd dimension, right? Say there was a hole poked through that
Mm.
plane that we live on, and imagine that a marble, a spheroid, was dropped through that hole. From our perspective, we would see a circle pop into existence. It would grow,
Mm.
and then it would shrink, and we wouldn't understand. The circle would just come out of nowhere, would grow, would shrink, and that's the marble falling through that hole in that 2-dimensional plane from our perspective. Now imagine that there are 4, 5, 6 dimensions. We can only perceive 3. So what else is around us that we see in particle physics and in uh, the microverse? We see these little molecules popping into existence and popping out of existence. Are there dimensions? Is that a dimensional thing? Just like
It
our
has to be,
two-dimensional
right?
self couldn't perceive that marble dropping through. What if there are 4, 5, 6 dimensions and we just can't perceive them?
Ask the people in Miami about that.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is they open a portal, and
Yeah,
what
Ron
I see all
DeSantis.
the
I'm not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Stop it with the politics.
Oh,
Sorry.
no,
Sorry. Go ahead.
What I see all the time in the 4th dimension that not everyone can see, for a brief moment, lots of people, or most people, saw another dimension interacting, which creates a portal, a doorway. And it's so funny because people are like, oh my gosh, this guy's like created some free energy. There's all this speculation. I'll be talking a lot about it tomorrow night. But there's all this speculation. They have this free energy. Hey, let's back up. Have you guys ever heard of a black mirror, an obsidian mirror? Portal.
No.
Used for thousands of years. Look it up. Thousands and thousands of years used as a portal. You guys can get one, light 2 candles, and you're going to have the wackiest experiences you've ever experienced in your life. You better be ready. Your
Where do I get
television's
one?
Etsy. Go on Etsy, type in Black Mirror. Go on.
Oh,
type
Black
in-
Mirror. Yeah, I had a black candle once back when I was a virgin, and 3 witches came. It was a bad idea. There was this cat that could talk.
Stop it.
That sounds
Okay,
like a
stop
Sabrina
it.
episode. No,
Stop it.
and
I
guess
was
what?
on Sabrina.
Were you really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was. It
What-
was.
which-
I played
were-
sore throat. I was like the
Oh.
guy that narked her off, and I had this
Oh.
really huge hairdo, and I
I love Sabrina. That's awesome.
His character was like Kramer's mini me.
yeah, basically. mini
I
me
love
Kramer.
that. That's so
Um,
cute.
Oh,
I'll even tell you
Manu,
what, I'll tell you
Serena,
guys
the
a
teenage
better-
bitch. I love it.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that too. There's an even more famous portal that we call the Ouija board. Hello, people. Like, these are tools that connect, that go to the 4th, 5th, 6th dimension, that beings enter in, that interact with us. You don't have to make some free energy device. People are so. Anyway, sorry. I was just my mini
No,
rant.
it's good. I want to go off the deep end. I was told by my producer tonight to stick to holistic healing and energy healing.
Sorry.
But
Okay.
but
There's so much we want to talk about.
I
Of
want to
course,
talk
we can
about
have
more stuff.
Kimberly back all the time if she's
Yeah,
willing.
so I would love her every
I'll just co-host the show.
yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
just
that would
kidding.
be great.
Uh-oh,
so-
Tyson.
Ah, wait a minute.
All right, so wait a second. I don't think I asked this question last time. So you do believe this is some kind of simulation of some sort?
Right.
Whether it's is there spiritual, is there God, is there that kind of thing involved in the simulation?
That's the beauty. Thank the gods, but no, there are gods and goddesses, but we don't have to worship them because usually we were the gods and goddesses. So unless you want to
Oh,
worship
it's us.
just
Yeah.
all cool too. But no, I call it the all, like, so, and I love it. I mean, really the concept of the all, I think, is probably what the concept of God is based on, but it's so much more beautiful because the all has no sin. It has complete allowance. Anything that ever will happen, ever be created, every being, every person, every ET, right? And things you couldn't even think of, cities, realities, everything comes from the all. And the all is, you know, a breakout of individual expressions of consciousness. So it's infinite, endless fun. And if you get bored of your perception or your point of view or your soul fragment that's in your body, and no matter what it goes into after death, which is a whole nother conversation, you can go back to the all and experience everything. And I love that the all isn't good and the all isn't evil. It's everything. So when you come, do you know how freeing it is? I was raised in a, you know, evangelical Christian home. My dad's a pastor. You know how freeing it is to learn or go on this journey to discover there's no sin after living under sin for, you know, 40 years of your life. And under that, like,
sin
it's
and
so,
guilt and
yeah, all the sin and guilt and all that and all the religious programming. And then to discover the Roman Catholic Church and wrote the Bible, and the Romans they didn't invent Jesus because he was actually an ET like we are.
Well, they put Constantine put the whole book together in 300
yeah,
AD
all of that. Yeah,
and used it to run people.
Council of Nicaea, the whole thing. You know, I wonder, the Hindu believe in reincarnation, and is that something that, I mean, because this flesh body will die, my consciousness, soul, whatever you want to call it,
what happens?
Does that continue to exist, or does it?
Well, it's a more complex conversation, because right now I'm this exact soul, this frequency, this exact being, this exact personality that's lived trillions of years is also playing. Like, I get a lot of blowback by the parallel reality where Hitler won the war, you know, like that Netflix series, what's it called? The High Castle.
Something.
Castle on the
Steel
Hill.
Castle.
Or
I'm actually in a timeline right now. Fully me, my point. I can shift my point of view and go there. And I've been getting a lot of blowback by Secret Space because I'm a resistance leader, and so I'm like really messing with the Germans, really messing with what we call a dark fleet right now in this reality. But anyway,
hold on. Can I call it quick time out?
Call it time out. What's happening here?
Castle on the Hill was Ed Sheeran. I don't know.
Not Castle.
High Castle, something High Castle.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Man in the High Castle.
Good time. Okay, go.
Man in the High Castle. Yeah.
But you guys are too. You guys are playing in games. Like there's, I don't know if I talked about this last time, but there's a game called Avalon. I wonder what that's about. Most people that I looked at in this reality, when I scan them, they're playing in the game Avalon, knights and dragons and ladies, and your soul is like an ocean. It's like an infinite ocean. You can take a scoop of the ocean and throw it over your shoulder. Good luck. Keep scooping, right? You can scoop 100,000 times. There's still going to be an infinite ocean. Each soul is like that. It can be divided infinite times. So you guys have clones. And so your exact 100% personality is in clone bodies. And
all right. This is tripping me out because lately I've been really, no, it's great. I love it. Lately I've been really thinking that our souls and reality are a lot like this new AI, where there's a million different realities that are built within the computer for a dog to learn how to not slip on a slippery surface. And there's a million different realities where that dog is learning. And it takes 24 hours for all those million realities, all the learning that all those dogs have done, they plug into one dog that's an actual robot on this earth, and it takes all that learning of million, like time space within the AI is incredible. And so quickly that dog learns how not to slip on ice because it takes that million lives that it's already lived in 24 hours and it downloads all that into the dog. So are our souls and our bodies playing the same type of thing? Are they also living are our souls living a million other lives at the same time as they're living me?
And time, there is no time. So in reality, we choose to subscribe to the belief of time, but in reality, there is no time. So you are living every past life you've ever lived right now. You're living every future life you've ever lived right now. You're living every ET race you've been, every tree you've been, some of us have been multiverses and universes. Some of us have been ships and what we consider inanimate objects, which in all time, all space. Ships are not considered. Often, there's like living organic sentient ships, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, so we've been all this stuff. And what's cool is the game is really hard because they block our access. Of course, you can turn on your abilities. You can get to a certain frequency. You can start to have memory and start to have access. But all of that connection, every single piece of us through all time and space, and you can even look in the future and see what you're going to be doing 5 million years from now. Because once you have that access, once you break, it's all stored right here in your energy field. It's not in the brain. There is no such thing as a life review. A life review is the fake BS program that they convince you to come back to the game, which they might not have to convince you, because if you vibrate lower than the Van Allen belts, you're coming back to the game no matter what. That's why.
Explain that, please.
Okay, so the Van Allen belts is what the Galactic Federation put into place to lower the frequency of the planet so that we forget. It's a natural thing. When you lower your frequency and become closer to an inanimate objects, you're going to lose access to a lot of your memory and to your abilities. You carry everything here. And the Akashic Records, you hear a lot about the Akashic Records, is not a valid place to go get your memory. Why? Your memory even can be corrupted, because we have, and we see this all the time when we scan people, the secret space, the military, the program, the Matrix computer, Red Queen AI drops false memories, even of this life, even of your childhood, even of your marriage, even of your relationships, of your, everything. And they do
Why?
it.
Why do they do that? Why do they do that?
Because they don't want you, because they will do anything for you, because it's the game. You go here, you have a victory, you remember who you are. You're like, oh, I learned that one of my soul families is Palladium. Like, I'm a soul collective. You guys are soul collectives. Like, they don't want us to learn that we have 60 full races. The soul collective is like a group of bubbles. And which part of the bubble are you not? It's a cluster of bubbles. Most of the beings with souls walking around here, we are Dracos, and we are Palladians, and we are Fae, and we are Arctuarians, and we are multiple races. I'm talking 50, 60 races, which we are able to now identify with technology. Guess what?
Now, when I was in school years ago, I was taught that Van Allen belts were the magnetic, spinning iron core of the Earth, and the magnetic belts that go around the Earth was the Van Allen. Now that was scholastic.
Yeah.
I want to hear how that's different from what
the Van Allen belts were put into place by the Galactic Federation to keep this and enclose. Stephen King, like I said, tells us under the dome, to keep it a closed system, so that you will not wake up, you will not recover your memory, you will not remember like, oh my effing G, I am the most powerful being on this place. I can win this game. I can create what I want.
Why go through all that trouble when red wine can do the same thing? I have some of that, I can't remember.
Wait a second. So who are they that have put this system in place?
The Galactic Federation, because the original creation of the game was to keep the Dracos, which we clearly see because the Draco Cabal system runs this reality. They're losing their hold. But, to keep them contained and distracted so that they aren't going, you should be telling me this stuff, not me telling you this stuff, because it's the plot of like a million Star Treks practically. But it's their competitors in conquering star systems and conquering planets. The Dracos are better in technology, at least in the early years of the Galactic Federation. Now the Galactic Federation has like 500,000 members, but in the early years, they didn't have as tech savvy groups as now they have some better, but the Dracos are still considered in our star systems, our neck of the woods, so to say, because you guys know there's billions of star systems. I hope you know that anyway, but in our neck of the woods, the Dracos are the top in technology. So the Galactic Federation the Dracos were always beating them to conquering new star systems and planets and technology. And the Galactic Federation got sick of losing people. They were having trouble keeping people in the Federation, because if you're not winning a war, who wants to be part of a losing group? Nobody. Who wants to have their family members die all the time? Nobody. So they finally they trapped the Draco here, but they're so stupid because they forgot the whole reason that they trapped him here, which is Dracos are better than
now. Draco is Latin for dragons. These are dragons.
These are the lizard people.
Draco is Latin for dragons, but the Dracos are different from the dragons. Dragons still exist. The dragons are going to get really offended. I'm going to hear about this. The Dracos are a hybrid with an Adamic avatar, a human. You laugh. The dragons are pure dragon. And thank you. I represented correctly.
Well, last time I think you told me I was a Draco.
So am I. But you're so collective. So you're also many
I'm
other
a dragon.
things.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
if I
it's
get
kind
me
of like
fatter,
being.
fatter, I'll be
So wait
dragging
a
my ass
second.
across.
It's
We
kind
didn't
of like
get
being
deep into this.
Scottish
I
and
just
English
gave
and
you the
Irish and
surface. I just
the
gave you
bloodline.
the first page of the book. I didn't give you like the book. I just gave you the first page. I just said, okay, you're Draco, because it's a prominent frequency. But what's cool is once you learn who you are and you start studying these races, you have to realize that is 100% in you. Not only is that in you, but everybody's like, who's my star family? Who can I ask for help? Well, once you know you have 50, 60 races, and we call it calling in accounts receivable, because guess what? You have mothers, fathers, wives, children, friends, enemies, all of it, in all these races. And guess what? You've done things for those people. So not only do you have relationships you can call on, like, hey, mom in the Fae, come help me. I need some extra cash this week. But you can literally ask them to come pick you up, take you to healing domes. They will come into your bedroom and heal you at night. They'll do all sorts of things. They will start interacting with you. But because of what, Mr. The prime directive, which some people obey, some people don't, but they cannot crash into your bedroom and say, hey, lady, I'm your mom from another star system. Do you want me to help you? No, you have to say, hey, lady, you're my mom from another star system. Will you help me? Do you see how it works?
You have to ask them to come?
Yeah. Yeah, but you have to know who to ask. You can't just be like, hey, anybody want to help me? No, you need to say, hey, I know you're my family, and come start working with me, start giving me messages, start appearing, start giving me dreams, start helping me.
Okay, that was the thing I was going to ask you at the top of the show. How did dreams fit into all of this?
Okay, first, oh God.
Because I felt like when I dream, I've dreamt other realities that my soul is living.
For sure. You have to understand it. It's another deception. It's another program. So we call it real dream day, because this is all a dream. This is all this is all fake. Everything, 100% of this is fake. It just looks real. We're in an immersive game. So we have real dream day and we have real dream night. No difference. The difference is we're stupid enough to believe that we need sleep. Why? Because you're told you do.
You told me, dude.
So when I'm unconscious and dreaming, that is just as real as when I'm awake and
100%. As a matter of fact, I say don't eat in dreams, because they put drugs in it. That's how they drug you. Because again, there's in some of these scenarios, they have to have your permission. So when you're chowing down at the barbecue you're dreaming about, they have your permission because you're stupid. You're eating.
I have always believed.
So wait a second. The Drake. When you say they,
you say
you're talking about the Drake. The Draco. No,
I'm talking about, and now in this case, now here it gets more complicated, because the Draco Cabal runs the politics. We know this. I'm not going to go down that, but this is an open source game. So it could be your Palladian family giving you a message, a beautiful dream, and taking you to the biodomes, and you dream you go in healing pools and you hang out and you have, beautiful conversation, or, whatever. We won't go dirty, but we could go dirty. You're seeing your mate, from your extreme, what I would call an extreme soulmate, or somebody from the future, your husband in another, you can have good dreams that are real. You can have implanted dreams. A lot of you get put in mind control chairs like dollhouse. That's why you wake up with, again, a lie. TMJ does not because you grind your teeth at night. TMJ is because
my girl does that.
You're backwards in mind control chairs, and you have this thing right here, and you have things right here, and you have a headset right here. So you get migraines, you get headaches, you wake with migraines, you wake with headaches.
Why are they picking on those people? Because my girl deals with all that. Why are they picking on
and she's
those
probably
people?
In the programs. Like, I'd have to run her, but she's probably in the program. She could be a super soldier. Not everybody in the programs is super soldier. She could work for
She
Solar
deals
Warden.
with so much pain in this life. It's
so she's
there's also sleeper soldiers, right? Because I've heard that there are people that are subconscious. They have that and then flip a switch.
They monitor. Well, it rarely happens. A lot of us are super soldiers, but a lot of us are owned by Monarch, who runs the super soldier, who runs the mind control program for the different agencies and corporations. And it's
almost like Manchurian Candidate kind of stuff, right?
Who's exactly Monarch? Who's Monarch?
As a matter of fact, Monarch is, MK Ultra. They're in charge of the MK Ultra program, which is still alive and active. There's hardcore MK Ultra people. The hardcore MK Ultra people are picked up between the age of 3 and 5, and we can scan all this and tell you if it's you. They're picked up between the age of 3 and 5 using time freezing technology. They take you usually to the United States base outside of Langley, Virginia, which is a black ops base. It's not
Thanks, Rob.
just the farm. And they do what you just said, the Manchurian, the born identity, all that stuff. They waterboard you. They bury you with dead people. They make you kill things. They sex, all the crap that you guys hear about, all the satanic ritual abuse, all the mind control stuff, all the Kathy O'Brien stuff. It's all done there. Then they take you back and they put you back a second after they took you. And you wonder why these children, you're like, how did this 5-year-old get so effed up? A lot of the answers are, or they took you to Mars and they did the 20, 40, 60, 80 and back thing. And you have a 7-year-old kid who has in the mind residual awareness, not necessarily memory, but awareness that they've had sex, they've been married, they've birthed 8 kids, they've fought in wars, they've killed monsters, they've been augmented super soldiers, they've led squadrons, they've flown jets. Like, this will mess you up, you guys.
I am
There was
absolutely all right. Wait a second.
Yeah.
I am absolutely in love with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and all the stuff that she has to say. Tell us about your book. How can we read more about this? How can we study more about this?
No, I'm sorry. I just blather.
The 1 hour that I get on with you. How do I get some more information?
No, I mean, right now I finally got out a little book. I mean, I'm working on other stuff because people are like, where do I read this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't hear people say what I say, So I have a little book on Etsy. It's like $11 and it starts kind of basic. It talks about NPCs. It talks about the soulless. It talks about the different kinds of souls and what we've discovered scanning people, how you can come in kind of this way or this way. It doesn't go into all the races or anything. I haven't gotten that far, but that's probably the most applicable little book on Etsy. It's called like The Secret to Everything, like NPCs, clones, whatever. I don't know. It's on there.
Okay. All right. So let me get to a couple more questions and then I'm going to bring in callers. We've got 15 more minutes with Dr. Kimberly. So what is what's going to happen in the future of our planet game?
Actually, it's really exciting in my book. So first of all, you have to understand there's macro timelines and there's micro timelines. Micro timelines are your own personal timeline. Your own personal timeline may or may not run on the same track as the collective or the macro timeline. So, but even in the macro timeline, we're at 4.3. We're not at 3D anymore. We're at 4.3 heading to 5D. You hear which 5D is really low. I'm sorry. There's like 7,000 dimensions and probably more.
That's what I thought. When Tyson said 5 or 6, I was like, come on, there's thousands of dimensions.
There's thousands.
Lots of dimensions.
Oh my gosh, you have a kitty too. You're like my house. You like pull up a different animal.
Ow. Go get the dog. Go get the dog.
Different animal. I love it. It's like my house.
Hey, this is the only pussy I allow in the bedroom. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I understand. You were really distracting.
Yeah, sorry.
What's going to happen in the future of our planet game? What's going to happen?
So we're talking about sex now. Okay.
Tyson's the one that mentions pussy. Give me a break. All right. So what's going to happen in the future of our planet game?
Yeah. So first of all, we are already heading toward a higher way of being. You guys aren't going to have to worry about your psychic abilities turn on. That's why the young people are coming. Everybody's like, why are they so much more advanced? It's not that they're less programmed and they have easier access to, and they're coming into a higher frequency. So they're going to be more interested in supported in these spiritual things. So you're going to see, and I don't want to keep going back to this, but it's a great example. This whole Miami thing is going to start happening. It doesn't even matter if it's staged or deliberate. It doesn't matter if they're doing it or not. I predicted the Star Wars bar for the last 3 years. Within the next 2 or 3 years, I don't necessarily think they're going to be what we would consider positive. I don't think they're going to allow positive alien races in, but we're a mix of races too, so we'll be fine. But they are going to start introducing alien avatars, and you have to realize this. They may not be introducing matched alien avatars. They may not be introducing Palladian avatars with Palladian souls. They may be introducing, you don't have to be worried. Forget the BS, the bullshit about the Project Blue Wing. That's not what you guys have to worry about. You guys need to worry about direct deception. You need to worry about the Palladian, like V kind of, you need to worry about the Palladian avatars with the Draco souls. So you're in bed one day and he rips out your heart, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we have to worry about. We have to have discernment and know what we're dealing with, because we're so shallow sometimes. We think what we see is what we get. Oh, this is a good person because they say they're a good person. Or, you know, I mean, this person, you guys know, you don't know. And a lot of times you guys are marrying and your parents are your handlers, and you're dating and you're sleeping with people that have no souls, or people that are lower level astral entities, or you're sleeping with people that are possessed by other human discarnates.
I married one with no soul. Anyway, continue. Yeah,
not play a character.
I hope you
So
did. I hope you
talk a
did.
little bit more about the nature of our reality, the nature of the sun, the moon, etc.
Okay, so we know, right? Moon, Death Star, looks exactly like the Death Star, exactly. And has various nuclear reactors on it that run this reality, including one of the computers that run this reality. Sun simulator in front of the original sun. The big 2 sun thing, huge ship. Not 2 suns, not 2 sun simulators. Certain people with sight, including me, can see the bulbs. You can see the bulbs in the sun. You can tell when they blow out. If you guys pay attention sometimes in the morning, you have to kind of wake at the right time. But if you start paying attention, I don't know if you guys have ever been laying in bed and kind of like awake, mostly awake, maybe not all the way awake. Have you ever noticed the light goes up like a dimmer switch ever? Like, whoop. Have you ever seen the light go from like dark or half dark to like, whoop?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You know, that's
And
because-
I've also, you know, taken a nap in the evening and then woke up after a few minutes and I thought it was the morning, and then it started getting darker and it was like, you know, really confusing.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do that. I mean, and again, it's
Yeah.
whoever's running. So you can go right now to the Seshi cameras, and I can't tell you what view. I'd have to find the page, and look at their NASA picture of the sun, and you can look at it. If you look at the top of it, you can see the ship wings of the ship, plane, UFO, whatever you want to call it. Not plane, but I guess, like, I don't like calling them UFOs, but you know what I mean. I call them ships. You can see the wings of the ships on top of the sun simulator on NASA cameras right now. You guys don't see because you don't look. I am not one of these. It's like, believe everything I say. I like to give you stuff that you guys can go look at, not to prove what I'm saying, but to at least open your mind to some of the concepts that I've.
Well, it feels like a little
So-
bit like the Truman Show, right?
So look
Like
at the
the Truman
NASA
Show.
cameras
I mean,
of
exactly
the
like-
sun, the NASA
So
pictures
if you
of the
look
sun.
at the pictures, you know, they have like, I don't know if you've ever looked at them, but they have like glowing green, like they have different colors. I don't know why they make them different colors, but red, yellow. If you look at the Seshi, SECCHI cameras, you can see a lot of times it's on the green picture for some reason, but you can see the wings. And if you get even half the telescopes are messed with here, but if you get even a decent telescope and sit out in the desert or on a clear night, or if you, without city lights, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't help to have light pollution. You put your telescope or your binoculars, really powerful, like military binoculars or strong binoculars, on the moon. You can see the ships flying in and landing, you guys. Like, I'm like, people, like, I'm not making this shit up. Like, look.
Yeah,
you
no,
just
look,
have to
I've
look,
seen all
you know?
these UAPs that have been buzzing the
Yeah,
planet
exactly.
a lot lately. So are these all different alien races? What are these things?
They are. Well, a lot. Some of it's solar water. Like, I saw footage from Miami in the sky, and they're like, they're showing triangle ships. I'm like, guys, that's us. Like,
That's us.
they're
I
like,
know the
"We
triangle
see."
ships
I
are
know
ours.
you know.
That's-
Yeah,
I've
but
had the
it's
same feeling.
yeah. I'm like, that's us, you guys. I'm glad they showed up, because who the fuck sends police to solve anything? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, fuck the police.
I'm
Well,
like,
Galactic
listen,
Police at that. And by the way, Manu has a great story about police in a bus. We're gonna have to talk about
I
that.
already told it. So hold on. One more.
We got some
before we
callers.
let our listeners. I want one more.
Okay.
One more question.
I
What
know.
happens?
No
Go ahead.
offense. No offense. No offense.
What happens when we die?
Well, okay. So first of all, if you're below the frequency of the Van Allen belts, you're coming back. So that's why spiritual growth matters. That's why meditating.
That
that's why
sucks, because when I was dying, my soul or whatever I was talking to told me that, hey, it doesn't matter, you're just coming back anyways. That sucks that I'm below the frequency of the alpha belt.
well, I don't
All right,
know
but
if you
go
are.
ahead. Well, my
No,
soul
I
said,
mean,
"Hey,
you would rather come
you
back
can
than
die
go into
now. You
nothingness,
can die
right?
later.
well,
It
no, there's
doesn't
worse
matter. You're going to
places.
have
I
to do
mean,
this over again." That's
no, there's worse
basically what my
places. Yeah,
okay.
but here's the truth. So let's say, and since the frequency of the game is going up and the frequency of people are going up, probably more people are going to have the choice. But if you don't know you have the choice, like my oldest daughter, right before she came here, she's only been here 2 or 3 times, but right before the last time she came here, she got captured by the Dracos in the in-between lives and tortured for years and years and years and years. And guess what? When she got rescued, she thought she was going to get to do something better, but she got stuck here being my daughter. Hey, you know.
What are the in-between lives?
In-between lives are when you step out of your body. That's an in-between life immediately. When you, this perspective, this point of view, when it isn't embodied, that's when you have your decision to make. So here's the truth. And this is what I teach my people to do. And it's better to hedge your bets anyway. So you don't get taken or deceived or captured, or let's watch your life. There's no such thing as a life review. Nobody does a life review but a negative race that wants to convince you to come back here so they can keep harvesting you and using you. You do whatever you want. Let's say you know you were Palladian, or you know you were Fate. Let's say you want to be a fairy again, or you want to be Palladian again, or you want to be Actuarian again, or you want to be a Draco again, or let's say you want to go fly ships for the secret space program, or let's say you want to create a planet, or let's say you want to be a planet. Let's say you want to be a healing multiverse. Let's say you want to be a war game or create a war game, play a war game. Guess what? You are the all. You are a limitless, eternal, all-powerful, no limits being. What do you want to do next from this? Do you want to create an island and go? So what I encourage people to do, if you don't know what you do, to hedge your bets, because you could walk in front of a dump truck tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Create a temporary place. If you don't know what you want to do, create an island, build whatever house you want, hut you want, put whatever you want, or if you want to be in the mountains, or if you want to be in Antarctica, it doesn't matter. But create a safe space that you go that is protected. Why? Because you built protection into it. Or you can put guards on it if you need the 3D physicality of it. And that's where you go. You immediately think you're not embodied. So you're going to go
it's
there.
our jobs as human beings to create where we want to go.
It's your job as fire creation, eternal soul, to decide. And guess what? Just like here, if you don't decide, there's plenty of people, plenty of beings that'll harvest you because you're fire creation. You're the most powerful beings in the multiverse. So they'll snap you up, they'll torture you, they'll use you, they'll take you, they'll imprison you, they'll send you back here. Keep fueling the game.
So what should we do after death? Right after
that, then you decide. You decide. Some people go directly where they want. Like I thought about, one of my races is a cetacean, and there's a cetacean ship. I have family on it. I'm a powerful healer, and thought about going to my cetacean ship. I've thought about hanging out, waiting for my kids to come. You can arrange even with your family and friends to meet up. You can be like, I'm going to go to my island and wait for you, and you come to my island. You can join up with your family if you want to go out, and then you can all decide what you want to do. You're like, hey, let's create an amusement park and hang out here for 30 years, or let's create. It's whatever you want.
There's a thin strip when you're dreaming, a thin strip where you begin to awake. You realize that you've kind of been dreaming. You're not quite conscious yet. And in that few moments, you can kind of direct your dream. Make your dream go where you want it to go.
Yeah. You can
lucid
do that
dreaming, right?
But it's easier to do that. And you're right. It's easiest to practice lucid dreaming in that moment. Also, if you want to know what it feels like when you die, I'm not talking about these dramatic things where you die on the operating table. We're talking about normal death. We're not talking about dramatic comeback death. We're talking about actually when you stay out of the body. It feels exactly like that. It's not, if you're not burning alive, if you're not being beheaded, if you're not being painfully tortured when you leave the body, it's exactly, that is the moment between waking and sleeping is exactly what it feels like to step out of the body. It is not scary. It is not frightening. And you will be standing by your body and you can choose, which is beautiful. And you can start talking to your kids. You can say, I'm going to try to knock things off. If you see things knock off when I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to bring in butterflies. I'm going to bring in bluebirds, whatever. I'm going to bring in, little kids eating ice cream. Doesn't matter what it is. You arrange your signs ahead of time because you understand you can't win a game unless you understand the rules. So you have to understand what this reality is, how it works. Then you have to understand what all time, all space is, how it works. Then you have to put the two together. Then you're golden, at least for
All
this
right.
game. You know?
So we're gonna. Can you give us a couple places to follow you, to your website, any books that you want people to grab, and then we're gonna take a couple questions from audience members, and we'll
Sure.
finish the show.
Secret to everything spelled out. TO secrettoeverything.com. I have an Etsy store, Secret to Everything, and then pretty much from there, I have a YouTube channel, Kimberly McGeorge, Secret to Everything. You guys are saying the thing. I've done like 2,000 shows. You can just type my name in. I'm kind of out there. I'm old.
Oh, I love you. I'm fascinated by this stuff. All right, so let's take a couple of guests because we've only got like another 7 minutes with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
All right.
So let's grab some guests.
First, we have Mala, and then I'm adding Dave, Katie, and Chris.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hi, Mala.
Hi.
Nice to vibrate on your level. I love being here with you. Your mic's going out. Yeah, I can't hear your mic.
Mala, you're muted on your end.
Yeah, unmute. There you go.
Yep, that'll do it. I am so sorry. So I was actually looking at some of the stuff you've done on other sites and everything after our last conversation because I really loved everything you had to say. One of the questions I had was, when exactly did you get into remote viewing, and what are your thoughts and experiences on it?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Thank you. Well, I was born, I guess, a remote viewer. When I was 3, we lived outside of Chicago, and I lived by a very Roosevelt Road, which is a very busy road. And ambulances, police cars, fire trucks would go up and down at night, especially at night, I guess, because it was more quiet. I was more tuned in and not, with the family. I was by myself. But when I heard these sirens, I would immediately see scenes of like people trying to hang themselves, people fighting, decapitated kids, like all sorts of, what you would associate with these sirens. I didn't know at the time that that was remote viewing, but that's uncontrolled remote viewing. And then, I just, so I was kind of born a remote viewer. And as I got older, it was the deliberate, instead of having like uncontrolled flashes, like I used to be driving down the road when it was more uncontrolled. And I would see like this accident with groceries all over the car and like blood and ambulances. And then like 8 miles up the road would be that exact scene. So I would get like, again, uncontrolled remote viewing. But in college, I started practicing controlled remote viewing. So, my friends are like, well, is my boyfriend cheating? I'm like, well, let's look. So I also have an ability that pairs really well, which you guys all actually have too. All beings in upper dimensions and most ET races have it, but it's the ability to merge with any person, place, thing, inanimate or living, and be them from the inside out. So I would go look at her boyfriend. I would either merge with him and be him from the inside out because I can read his thoughts, obviously, if I'm in his body, or I would go see what he was doing, So if he was with a girl, I'd be like, oh my God, he's with Sally Sue, Oh my God, they're like eating dinner at a restaurant. Oh my God, it's like this restaurant, and then they would go confront them and it caused a lot of problems. But so that's kind of how it started.
That's almost like a different level of psychometry. Really?
I never even thought of it like that, actually.
That's very interesting.
I don't even know what psychometry is. Somebody help me out.
You can explain.
I actually had some experience with psychometry, but I'll let Mala.
Shut up, Dave. Mala, go ahead.
Oh, poor Dave. Love you, Dave.
I love Dave too. That's why I treat him so bad.
The ability to hold an object or a person or something with an auric residue and being able to read its past.
Okay.
If you watch the movie Vibes with Jeff Goldblum and Cyndi Lauper, it's freaking amazing. It's an awesome movie. It'll tell you all about psychometry.
That's cool. A lot of this is something a lot of people don't know. I just want to mention it really quick. Hollywood leaks a lot of the reality of what's really happening to us through films and television, and people don't really understand that. But go ahead, Mala. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was it.
That was it. Was that your question? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next?
Guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave.
Hello.
Dave Prime. What's up?
There's not much saying this. This is a little piece of psychometry that I brought with me to a couple of an investigative group that I used to be involved with in Seattle. They say, bring something, don't let anyone know what you're talking about, bring it in a paper bag, it gets passed around and people just
Oh wow.
pull it out. I mean there were some things I've just held on to it. I just really focused and concentrated. Some things I was pretty spot on. Other things I was like in the nosebleed sections in the 300 level. But with this little guy right here, like almost everybody picked up imagery of two kids playing Matchbox cars in a dirt field, and
Aw.
like I say,
I grew up. I
won't
grew
go.
up
I
playing
won't.
Matchbox
I won't go into full
Cars.
story because many of the people in the DT family know this is something that Chris and I. This is one of the Matchbox cars we played with a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, but going to what Kimberly was saying earlier. Excuse me, earlier in the show when you were saying you're taking like 200, not all at the same time, I hope not, but like all these different supplements that you take and you're going,
Oh yeah.
it's like, which ones
Right.
am I going to take today? And
Right.
saying, what if you like say, this is what I want to do today, but you were way off base? Did it put you off kilter? Did it put you in some sort of different, like,
Well, here's the
like,
thing. It would, because here's what people don't understand about supplements or anything, food. I mean, if your body doesn't want it, if it doesn't resonate with you, it becomes toxic or poison. And the body, that's why we have waste. The body has to eliminate it, through the skin, through sweat, through urine, whatever. But because the technology I use, the way I use it is 100% accurate, I never have to worry about that. It's just been proven to be accurate. So I know that if I do what it says that I need it, there's not going to be it's going to be an asset. If I take usually what it tells me to take that night, the next day I always feel better, always in a better mood, always more energy, always, I guess you could say, healthier in some way, depending what I take. So really,
and what is this tech that you're talking about?
I'm not going to tell you, remember?
Oh, sorry. Okay, send it to me.
Yeah, I can tell you. You can post it later or whatever. It's just
I'd love to.
Because then people start, I have to give a link or I get yelled at by because I offer a free trial and all this stuff, and it just becomes a mess if people are like using my name. It becomes a logistics mess for the staff. That's all.
So can I mention it in my like social media without getting you in trouble?
Yeah, I'll give you the link so that people can get a 14-day trial, but it'll be connected. They'll know where it came from, and they won't be asking everybody, it's hard to explain. It's just
I understand. Yeah. Okay, Dave Prime, do you have any other questions?
Two quick things. One, if you look behind me, Katie's saying everything's still inversed on my camera, so that's like a whole other side issue. But Manu, did you not point out to the cop that went to your house that your car is not brown?
I tried to point that out to him, but he didn't give a shit. Yeah, public officials stick together whether they're dating or not. It's just a money thing, They're
packed animals.
Yeah, they're packed.
It was so dirty, it looked brown, so that worked.
Yeah, that worked. Your car's dirty. That must have been the damage to the bus. The truth is, I would have had to back up through two parked cars to actually have hit that bus in the back end, because I was nose to nose with it. So if I would have backed up, I would have had to run through two parked cars to hit the back end of that bus. Anyway, yeah. Dave?
Dash cam.
Yeah.
Dash cam. Get a dash cam.
I'm going to get one next time. I'm definitely going to plug one in, because this is such a pain in the ass to fight the whole city and the police department and the bus drivers and all that. It's a losing battle, but I still think I'm going to win. I'm going to get it thrown out.
Oh, yeah. They just pointing out the car that you're
5 days later with a crappy little picture. Give me a break.
Yeah. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Katie from London.
Why do you always think that I'm from London? I'm very far away from London. I'm from Sheffield in Yorkshire.
Sheffield in Yorkshire, sorry.
Yeah. But no, what Marla was saying about
Katie from England.
I absolutely love it. But something that was brought up earlier about like multi-dimensions and things. I did put in the live chat earlier, I think. But I suffer deja vu a hell of a lot, and one of the theories about deja vu is crossing dimensions. Your soul crossing dimensions from one life to the next. And at some point, our lives have ran semi-parallel, and we can have things that are happening to us now here in this dimension are triggering a memory from a past life. I was just wondering what your theories are on it.
I have a little bit different view on deja vu. Actually, the first person that ever talked to me about deja vu was Bill Murray. You know, Groundhog Day. I worked in a nightclub that he used to come in. I can't believe I admit that. Anyway, I was very young, guys. Worked in a nightclub and I was a cocktail waitress, and he used to come in and sit at the bar. Mafia nightclub, of course. And he used to come in and sit at the bar, and nobody wanted to talk to him. It's so funny. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But when I did, I'm like, oh gosh, I feel sorry for him, and I'll go talk to him. So I went and talked to him. He was talking to me about Groundhog Day, and he goes, I hate the stupidity of people. And I'm like, I mean, he's drunk. Okay. But I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Bill? And he's like, people are so stupid. I'm like, I know. What do you mean? And he goes, Groundhog Day is about technology. It's not about deja vu. It's about the technology that they have to stop time and rerun the day. That's what it's about. You were just talking about how they reveal what they have. And so to me, they memory wipe us every night. They upload us, they upload the crystals, they spray from the sky. Long story. You can actually see, like I see some crystals on my skin right now. You can sometimes see the crystals, the little tiny, they're like little patterns and squares. But anyway, quartz crystals, they upload it in the Matrix computer before midnight, which is why I teach my students to take showers before midnight, wherever they are, because that's when they upload it. What do they give when they upload it? Your memories, every word you said, every thought you did, basically everything. Because the crystals gather it all through the day. And then they adjust the game to be more vicious and more targeted toward you. Oh, you're fighting with your boyfriend? Okay. We're going to even, we're going to do this and this to make that worse and make you even feel worse. So anyway, but the technology is, if they want to, and it gets even messier because it's not even the Matrix AI, Red Queen computer or the Draco or the Galactic Federation. It's also negative ET races. There's whole negative ET races that also possess technology. And just for fun, or just because they're paid mercenaries, they rewind our lives. So a lot of times, deja vu isn't connected to anything, but you have actually lived that day before. And it's bleed through memories of where the technology of the memory wiping or the drugs or however they did it that time or whoever was behind it, it's bleed through. So it's usually not any foreshadowing or parallel life. Now, sometimes it can be just like, I want to go back to dreams. Dreams can be a lot of things. Dreams can be more like what you're saying. Dreams can be the parallel lives. Dreams can be the games that you're playing. This is a game realm. We're playing other game realms. Dreams can be your parallel timelines. Dreams can also be, because you're connected, 100% of your consciousness is in other places, including clones. And I'm bringing up clones because your clones are in this reality. So you're more connected to the ones physically present here, of course, than you are necessarily, light years away or on other planets or other places. And so you can access those memories. If you work for the agencies and you're doing missions, my children and I have 4 girls, and the sisters, they go on missions together. My daughter and I, one day, we recounted a game from 2 different points of view with the exact same details. I would start to say something and she would finish my sentence, and we were seeing the exact same room, the exact same people. We were on opposite sides. She was chasing me. I was performing a bad mission or for the bad guys. But I mean, that's bleed through. I'm not supposed to remember that. I'm not supposed to remember what was going on in real dream night, which is just a 24-hour day that they get 12 hours of. They get to use you. That's why I encourage people to lucid dream and turn it around. Sorry.
No, I was just saying hey to a guest of ours, old friend of mine.
Go ahead. I was just wanted her feedback because she brought that up. She kind of opened that whole rambling thing up.
I mean, I have a lot of different theories on it. I agree with your theory as well. I think that there's a lot of different things, how things can bleed different reality.
I agree.
And I don't think it can be put down to just one thing. It's the same with different frequencies.
Totally agree. I love your
one
dog.
frequency that's supposed to work for this specific thing may work on some people, but not on others, because we vibrate at different frequencies ourselves.
Totally. And the higher you vibrate, the more you escape their technology, which is for the lowest mass vibration, for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, for example, one of the best frequencies to use for like a migraine is a carrier of 160 hertz with the binaural of 0.5, and that is no good for me. You know, I'm still trying to find the right frequency, because I've had a migraine since 2011 and it hasn't gone. So, you know, and the same with my pain levels, 174 hertz. That works to some degree, but I need to tweak it and find a better one. I still haven't found the right frequency to sleep. I still don't sleep. But yeah, frequencies that may work for me or don't work for me might work for my mother, might work for you.
I agree.
It's all to do with the frequency
Individual.
you resonate at. Yeah, and the same with the different types of crystals as well. We have to cleanse them and charge them, but we also have to charge them with our energy as well, so that they become compatible. If they're not, we'll know about it.
Okay. Gosh, we've kept Dr. Kimberly McGeorge like 6 minutes over time. We have one more question from Chris Leftwich, and then we've got to end the show. So, Chris, let's hear what you got to say. What's your question? Hey,
well, we gotta get
what's up?
Doing good. Yeah, I really don't have a question. You were touching on dreams and all that good stuff. I've been trying to log down my dreams. I have very vivid dreams. Good. You know, and I was actually capable of going into lucid, which I've done several other times, but I went lucid for what seemed like about 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I was on this, like a cliff on top of a beach, just overlooking the ocean. And I was like 60 feet up, but that's when I realized that I'm dreaming. And I looked at my arms and I was like, oh my God, this is a dream. And I'm still in it. Cool.
Oh, wow.
So I just jumped off the cliff because I know, you know, I'm fine. I just jumped off of it and I walked around on the beach. And, you know, I went up and there was a road and and there were these two beings that were following me. I know people were going to say, I don't know. I could only see them from like here down. I couldn't see up top. They were kind of like the night walkers, if you ever. And but they weren't just, you know, circling around. They were just walking. And but anyway, yeah, there's that one. I had another dream, and I actually posted this on Twitter, and Mala responded to it. I had a dream where there was this. It was a room. I was walking through like this warehouse type thing, and then door opened, and there was a room. And this room was it had to be at least 50 acres cubed. It was huge room, and all across the walls were these tiny little, like white and light blue reflectors, if you will. And, you know, and the ceiling, you know, everything. It was just a huge room. And then I was given these things that looked like drumsticks. They were about the size of a drumstick. And what I would do is I would put them right here, you know, along my my forearm. And just by thinking about it, they would shoot out fire about 50 feet. But there was no heat. And then I was able to flap them, and it would raise me into the sky. And I could kind of fly around by using those things. And then I could turn them off and go right back down to the floor. And when I was thinking this, I was like, oh my God, this is some type of like alien technology, and I'm getting to play with it.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe not.
More than likely.
Yeah. And also talking about dreams, I have frequent dreams that take place in the same place. There's a shopping mall. There's a hospital. There's a resort.
Clone memories. That's a sign right there. That's your clone. I would pay a lot of attention to that. Yeah.
There's a resort, and there's also this farmland. And every time I go to these places, now it's a different dream. Every time, different people, completely different dream. But like when I'm at the well, just anywhere. It's the exact same pattern. I know exactly where I'm going. When I'm on the farmland, it's a barn, and then there's like a little pasture, and there's a tree line off to the left, and there's a pasture over there. And then you go down here, and there's a creek, like a tiny little river that runs down, and there's some old abandoned cars in the back. But anytime I'm in that place, if I walk up to the desk and I open the drawer, it's the exact same pair of scissors and tape and screwdriver and stuff like that everywhere. It's I was just, what's your
Getting
thoughts?
a picture of one of your other lives, I guess.
That's no, I believe that's his perception connecting. His consciousness could even be being transferred into that life, or because we didn't really talk about that, but consciousness transfer. So it could even be you, the you now talking right now, being transferred out of the body into that life as probably a mission. It's probably a mission life. You're probably working for the agencies, is what
would that be like a real-time thing, or would it be like a future life or a past life?
It's real. No, it's in this time frame, this reality. Like I said, like that vision, real dream day. That's a great example to me of real dream day. This is our real dream day. Then you go to bed and your consciousness is transferred into your real dream life,
That's another thing I want to throw in. Most of the time, 99% of the time when I'm dreaming, I'm driving my X11 that I had when I was in high school. Actually, I still have the car. It's in the backyard. It's a barn find now, but I still have it. And I'm always driving that car. And I'm always driving that car.
No, it's really good that you're really lucid. And it's really good that you're writing things down. There's a lot of patterns that emerge. There's a lot of clues to like who you're working for and stuff. It's good you're doing that.
Cool. Thank you, Chris. I have I had one last question, but I think I just lost it. They must have erased it from my brain. Damn.
Really quick, I want to show this. We have a comment here from Jan Lorraine Hoyle, but she just said welcome back, Manu. But it's from X, so I want to say welcome Twitter.
Thank
welcome
you, Jan.
X.
Yeah, well, Twitter
we can
folks,
see you now,
or X folks. We want to thank Dr. Kimberly McGeorge for coming back on our program. I would have her on every other week if I could. She's amazing. Thank you so much. If there's anything else you want to promote, I'll give you your last chance. I think you said a few things.
Just really quick, guys, if it's okay. I do offer one-on-ones. I do offer scans. I offer secret space scans. I offer full scans. I offer tap scans, which are if you just have a couple areas you want me to look at. We have 2 live events this year in September and October, which, hands-on healing, teaching, all sorts of woo-woo stuff. Mentoring programs. I have monthly groups. I have a community. Just lots. It's all on my website. Check it out.
And they can get that all through the
secrettoeverything.com.
secrettoeverything.com.
Links.
Thanks so much for
below.
Yeah, the link is in the
guys,
description below.
I appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's always such a fun time talking to you.
I'll get you some of that information. If I might not remember it all, what I promised you, but I'll get you the link and that information, and I'll try to remember some of the other stuff I told you I'd get you.
Yeah, I'll shoot you off an email if I remember all the
good.
things I asked for. All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Doctor.
guys.
We'll
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you too.
Good night.
Awesome show.
Yeah, so much fun. It's hard to not keep her for hours and hours. Tyson, you want to close this out, or you want me to do it?
Well, I just want to thank our listeners. Thank Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. Thank you so much. I always have so much fun with that. And for those listening, I always, poke fun and make a little, bring a little humor to the show. But I truly believe
wild shit she's talking about. I don't know.
But I love her. I think think it's great. And so thank you everybody for watching and listening. And I didn't get my kiss this. Hold on. Well, there we go.
One of these days, they two will get it on par.
I didn't make it.
Well, there we go. There we go.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Close.
Bye, guys.